I'm coming to you from the floor of the 2026 Iowa Pork Congress. I'm sitting with a longtime friend of mine, Dallas McDermott. Now, Dallas and I met, I believe it was at the Southeast Nebraska Swine Evaluation Center when we were ultrasounding pigs. I've worked with Dallas over the years, and he and I go back and forth, sharing and commiserating about our time together as ultrasound techs. I've moved on. Dallas has stayed. He's probably the only certified swine ultrasound technician in the United States now. But Dallas has some really neat technology I'd like him to just share with ultrasound and how it's applying to the commercial swine industry. A little bit different than what we thought about in the past.
So, there isn't any certified swine technicians in the United States anymore. We don't have enough technicians out there to run a certification program. So everybody's certification ran out. So anyway, I am kind of the old man of the industry, but so one of the last things I wanted to do before I retired was to maybe transform the way we look at using ultrasound, and I've been able to do that with Biotronics Inc. And we're working on a lot of exciting things. We're working on auto interpretation of cross-sectional images presently using machine learning and AI. We're also trying to put that technology into our packing plant systems. Biotronics has actually supplied one of the major packers in the United States here with ultrasound equipment to evaluate for muscle depth and fat depth, and that's been going for 10 years and been going very well. Recently, we've had a lot of interest in intramuscular fat or marbling, whatever you want to call it, because of the problem the industry has with inferior quality loins. Unfortunately, loins used to be a premium product that everybody paid a premium for from a carcass, and it really drove a lot of the value of the carcass. Now it's a product that it's usually about the cheapest product you can buy, the cheapest wholesale cut that we can buy. And biggest reason for that is muscle quality. And there's several things that go into muscle quality, but we can use ultrasound to measure intramuscular fat. It's one of the three major traits that determine eating quality in a loin, but it's one we can use to evaluate live pigs, and we can do carcasses with it. And we've had a lot of interest here recently from packers and some of the bigger packers in the country. And it's not just one, it's several that are starting to understand that we need to do a better job of having a product that tastes good. And I like to think that it's probably somewhat due to what's happening with the beef industry right now. Beef prices are way up. Consumers are still paying the price because they like it. And we've got more intramuscular fat in beef now than we ever did. A lot of it's because of use of ultrasound on breeding stock, and it's, transferred down to the herd level. And so people enjoy a premium cut of meat. Unfortunately, a lot of the loins we sell are not premium cuts. And so we have got a system that we can use in on the carcass, in the packing plants at line speed. We've been presently running at about 1,200 head an hour, and that's it's doing all the calculations, it's doing all the predictions in real time and writing that to a file. And basically, we've got several different ways that we're using it. We've recently come up with a system that is a little less expensive than what we have in those lines that are running 1,200 head an hour. We needed something for those small and medium-sized packers that were really looking at niche markets. And we've actually got one system in one plant, and they are using it to sort carcasses. And they are taking those carcasses with higher IMFs, separating them out, selling them for more money, basically. And that's really what I was after. And this came from a USDA grant that we got, and it all came about from, if you remember here, during the COVID time when Biden got on and said, hamburgers $7 a pound, we need more competition, so this grant kind of came out of that. And we were enough of a realist to know they don't need more competition because these small and medium-sized packers are never going to compete with the larger integrated packers. But we knew that they needed help in sorting off that premium product. And so that's kind of what we went after with the grant money. And we've got a system that's now being used commercially in a line that's running about 600 head an hour. It's a little more manual input, but it's a lot less expensive than the fully automated one that we have at 1,200 head an hour. So it's been really exciting to see that happen. The people that are using it are extremely happy with what's happening. They're able to sort that product, and what they're putting in the box on those those more premium cuts with higher IMF is really good. And they had instances in the past where chefs had sent back product that didn't have enough intramuscular fat. Unfortunately, chefs think that pork and beef are the same thing, and the only thing that separates it's IMF. Like we discussed before, there's a couple things there that come into play that they never get taught in culinary school. And so they look at it and they say, yeah, it's got intramuscular fat. It's going to be a great eating experience. Some of it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but whatever keeps the market moving. We do know that having intramuscular fat will increase juiciness and tenderness because you've got that fat melting within the myofiber or within that muscle fiber bundle. It's encapsulated. Unless we cook the living crap out of it, it'll stay there and it will increase the eating experience. So it's always a good thing. But we've got, now there is a paradigm shift.
I think you nailed it with the paradigm shift, with the change in the food pyramid to feature protein, with the change in the campaign, trying to put the other white meat behind us. There's more emphasis on pork as a premier meat product. The way that your technology will help us further differentiate those specialty products should be really good for the industry, right?
Well, that's what we're hoping. Demand has been pretty flat to a little bit less as time goes on, and a lot of it is driven off of that eating quality. And beef is a prime example of people will pay for it if it tastes good, and we need to put more emphasis on that in our genetic selections. It's going to be a paradigm shift for producers too, because some of that is driven by sow productivity, using York and Landrace, which typically are our breeds that have lots more pigs and can raise pigs and do a great job, but the muscle quality isn't as good in it. So we're going to have to put more emphasis on that, I guess, in our maternal lines, which will drive most geneticists nuts. They don't want anything more to have to select on the maternal lines, but it's going to have to be, I think, if we're going to make this industry change and actually increase pork consumption.
You nailed it there. We need to increase pork consumption. And a lot of times we think some of these niche or specialty programs are push button, easy button. Let's use the Berkshire as an example. If I feed Berks, I'm going to have great loins. Well, I can tell you those Berks can have some bad loins too. So this tool could really help add value to those really good loins in that Berkshire program or other specialty programs.
Any genetic population that we get into, there's going to be a bell-shaped curve. There's going to be some that are really good and some that aren't. And, but we're just trying to shift the curve to the right, basically, is what I'll say, if you're looking at it from a graph standpoint. We just want to shift the whole population and have a higher percentage of acceptable quality loins.
Well, Dallas, you brought back a lot of memories of advanced meat science, some of my breeding classes with Dr. Stewart back at Purdue, and our time together as certified ultrasound technicians. And even though there's not a program, I certify you as the certified ultrasound technician in the swine industry. Thanks for your time today, Dallas.